Some pickups nobody wants to buy end up lasting longer than brand new trucks. They stay cheap, get ignored, and don't look special at all. But they keep running when newer trucks start having problems. Starting at number 3, Nissan Frontier from 2005 to 2019. The Nissan Frontier from these years is one of those pickups that sits in the used market without much attention, even though it keeps showing up again and again in real daily use. Most people scroll past it quickly. The design is simple, not flashy, and it does not follow the modern aggressive styling that newer trucks use. The interior also stays basic, without extra features that usually attract buyers. Because of that, it does not get the same interest as other popular pickups, even when the price is very low. This lack of attention is also the reason it often stays in the cheap pickup category for a long time. Under the body, the setup is focused on simplicity. The engine design is straightforward, and the overall system does not depend on too many complicated parts working together. That means fewer complex systems that can turn small issues into expensive problems over time. The structure is built in a way where most parts are doing a direct job without extra layers added on top. On used listings, this model is often found at lower prices compared to similar pickups from more popular names. Many buyers move past it quickly because they are looking for something more modern or more commonly discussed. That keeps this truck sitting longer in the budget range. In real usage, it continues to appear in normal working environments. Light hauling, small delivery work, general transport, and utility use are common situations where this model is still seen. Even after long periods of use, many units remain in daily driving condition, still being used for simple tasks without special treatment. Inside the cabin, everything is kept very straightforward. The layout is simple, controls are easy to understand, and there is nothing complicated that takes time to learn. This simplicity also means fewer parts inside the cabin that can create issues later. Compared to newer trucks with more complex interiors, this one stays more direct in design. Another reason it remains affordable is that demand is not very high compared to other pickup models. Many buyers focus on more well-known options, which keeps this one lower in priority when listings are compared. That difference in demand is one of the main reasons it often appears in lower price ranges. Parts availability is another strong point. Since this model was produced over multiple years, replacement parts are generally available in many markets. That keeps maintenance more manageable compared to vehicles with limited parts support. The long-term structure of this truck is also a major reason it continues to stay in use. It is not overcomplicated in its design, so wear and usage tend to show up in a more predictable way. With regular basic care, many of these trucks continue to stay on the road far longer than expected for their price range. This combination of simple engineering, low demand, and consistent real-world usage is what keeps the Nissan Frontier in the category of cheap pickups that are often overlooked, but still remain active in everyday work. Now moving forward, the next pickup on the list is even more basic in design and even more ignored in the market. But it still continues to appear in tough, everyday use where simple reliability matters more than anything else. Number 2. Ford Ranger from 1998 to 2011. There's a reason the Ford Ranger keeps ending up in the too cheap to care category. It doesn't try to compete with modern trucks, and it doesn't pretend to be anything it's not. The size is smaller, the design is simple, and the inside is built only for basic driving needs. No extra attention to comfort-heavy styling, no complicated layout, nothing designed to impress on first look. That kind of setup is exactly why most buyers pass it without a second thought. But in the used market, that same simplicity becomes the reason it survives so long. The mechanical setup stays very straightforward. Engine choices from these years are known for basic construction, meaning fewer layers of systems working together. Instead of depending on advanced electronics, the truck relies more on direct mechanical function. That reduces the number of points where issues can build up over time. Because of this, the Ranger often ends up in situations where it is used more than it is talked about. Small business work, local transport, rural driving, and general utility use are where it keeps appearing. It is not a truck that usually gets replaced quickly, even when newer options are available. The pricing also reflects how it is treated in the market. Many listings stay low simply because demand is focused elsewhere. Larger trucks and newer-looking models get more attention, while this one stays in the background of search results and deals. Inside, there is no complexity to figure out. Everything is arranged in a very direct way. Buttons, controls, and layout follow a basic structure that doesn't require adaptation. That simplicity also means fewer things inside the cabin that can create long-term issues compared to more feature-heavy vehicles. Another factor that keeps it active is availability of parts. Since it was widely produced for many years, replacement components are not difficult to source in most regions where it was sold. That helps keep older units on the road longer instead of being removed from use early. What really defines this pickup is how it behaves over time. It does not rely on modern complexity to stay functional. Instead, it continues working through a very basic and consistent mechanical design. That's why many of these units are still seen in daily use, even after years of being driven in normal working conditions. And now the final pickup on the list is where things shift again because it is the one most people globally recognize for long-term durability, even in harsh and demanding use cases. Now finally, the number one, Toyota Hilux from 1997 to 2005. This is the type of pickup that usually gets understood only after seeing it in real use, not from listings or photos. The Toyota Hilux from these years is often found in very basic condition, sometimes with worn paint, simple interiors, and no focus on comfort or modern features. At first glance, it does not look like anything special, and that is the main reason many buyers overlook it when comparing cheap pickups. But the story changes when it is seen in long-term use environments. In many places, this pickup is used for heavy daily work where conditions are not ideal. Rough roads, long driving hours, and repeated loading tasks are normal situations for it. Instead of being treated as a light-use vehicle, it is often used in a more demanding way and still continues to stay in operation for long periods. The engineering behind it is based on a very simple mechanical approach. The design does not depend on overly complex electronic systems, which reduces the number of things that can fail over time. The focus stays on basic function, movement, and durability under repeated stress. Because of this, even older units that have gone through long usage cycles are still seen in active service. Some are used for transport tasks, some for field work, and some in environments where replacement is not frequent. The common factor is that they continue to stay in use instead of being removed early. Pricing in the used market often stays lower than expected for its reputation, mainly because condition varies widely between units, and many examples are not well maintained on the surface. This creates situations where it gets ignored in favor of newer or cleaner-looking trucks, even when mechanical life may still remain. The interior is extremely simple, with a layout that focuses only on essential controls. There is nothing complicated inside the cabin, and everything is arranged in a straightforward way that supports basic operation. This also reduces long-term interior-related issues compared to more advanced vehicles. Another important factor is how widely this model was used globally. That widespread use means parts availability is generally not a major issue in many regions, which helps keep older units functioning longer instead of being taken off the road quickly. What separates this pickup from many others in the same price range is how often it continues to appear in real work environments, even after long service life. Instead of becoming inactive early, it tends to remain in circulation as long as basic care is maintained. This is why it is often placed at the top of lists like this one, not because of appearance or features, but because of how consistently it stays in use across different conditions and time periods. And this completes the list of cheap pickups that are often ignored at first, but continue to stay active long after expectations based on price alone.